Oh, by the way, Scottish people, do you know that English people tend to think we're backwards? It's so weird, because when I moved down to England, loads of Londoners were like, oh my God, have you just moved down from Glasgow to London to escape homophobia? Are you a gay refugee in London? As the Scottish people are not homophobic, we've got a rule in this country. It's either you're a good cunt or a bad cunt. Your race, your gender, your sexual orientation doesn't play a part in it, but if you try and make that play a part in somebody else, you're a bad cunt. That's how we work it. It's a really simple system. I think, though, Scottish people just love proving other people wrong. We love it so much. I think we probably used to be homophobic, and then somebody told us that we were. We're like, all right, you think we're homophobic? I'm going to have sex with this man just to prove England's wrong. Oh, flower of Scotland, and will we see? We don't even need to use the word gay in Scotland. We've got... Scottish people have this strange ability. They can describe somebody as a homosexual by using any noun. All right, is that guy a bit of a blueberry? There's a set of maracas over there. English people can do it, but they can only use activities to describe somebody as gay. Be like, oh God, he's the kind of guy who likes to leave the windows open. Oh, Barry loves a fundraiser. Bet you wear your slippers round the house. I moved down to England a long time ago. I moved back, I had to live with my parents again, and oh man, the banter was too much. I had to move out again. See, living with my mum, that's the thing, right? My mum would take the piss out of me, which I'm fine with, because I make fun of her voice, because me and my mum don't always see eye to eye, because hers at the side of her head. We all joke. But my mum loves making fun of my stammer. I've got a stammer. Sometimes I have it. It just comes out randomly. It's trying to see why I'm good at doing voices, because I had to cover up my stammer for ages. And my mum loves the fact I've got a stammer. I was on the phone to her yesterday, right, and she was at the shops. I was like, Mum, are you at the shops? I was like, yeah, I'm at the shops. What do you want? It's like, can you get me a sandwich and a muffin? Okay, I'll get you a sandwich and 23 muffins.
Whenever I get asked to describe my comedy, I always say it's accessible, observational stuff, suitable for the whole family, right? Then you start reading descriptions of yourself over the years. Mine are always consistent. They're always blunt, brutal, forthright. I don't read reviews, but I saw one by accident recently. It opened with, Fern Brady scares me. That was a nice review. Who's this scary woman they're talking about? I'm a lovable, nice girl. And I'd always wondered why people thought I was aloof. And then I was doing a show in Berlin, and a woman came up to me at the end, and she said, just so you know, your entire set is a description of a woman with Asperger's. You should look into it. One guy just laughed there like, oh, thank God she realises. It was the 10th person that had said it to me, right? One of them was me into the mirror every day. Looked into it, started getting diagnosed. I'll be honest, guys, it's not a huge surprise. I've always felt like an alien trapped in a beautiful woman's body. The rest of the show isn't a poignant unpacking of the diagnosis and how I came to terms with it, and then we all have a little cry. No. I'll just tell you where it affects me, right? I thought it'd be cracking to get to a point in comedy where people recognise you for your comedy and say they like your stuff. Then it started happening, and I was like, oh, I forgot I don't have any social skills off stage. A guy came up to me in the airport. He was like, hey, I've seen you on YouTube. I really like your stuff. In my head, when this happens, I'm always like, thank you so much. The way I responded to this guy, however, was by silently holding out both my hands and holding both his hands and just smiling in his face dementedly, like Kate Middleton when she meets a heroin addict at the opening of a community centre. Don't let that put you off chatting to me after. Just know I've been coached in how to talk to you by my autism therapist, Jemima. I'm not good at being diplomatic. That's my problem. And it led to me having my first scandal in comedy in the last year. Dead exciting to have a scandal as a comedian. Mine started because I was doing some material about a political party called the DUP. Now, some of you know who they are. If you don't, they're these Northern Irish Christian politicians. They hate women and gay people, even though their leader is a stone butch lesbian who doesn't realise she's gay yet. Her name is Arlene Foster. Gay marriage was illegal in Northern Ireland until I started touring this show. Coincidence? I did some material about Arlene Foster, saying she was a homophobe because she was secretly gay, and I then performed it on a little-known channel called BBC One. The BBC lawyers checked it. I thought I was fine. And then the programme came out 2 days later, and I was made aware of a newspaper story in the Belfast Telegraph, Protestant newspaper. This is for an American audience, but I couldn't help being like, we'll do some sectarianism for the Glasgow audience. Belfast Telegraph did a newspaper story with the headline, "The DUP demand an apology from the BBC over comedians' gay jibes." And then there was an unflattering picture of me. I was very excited. But my agent, Chris, he's always trying to control what I do on Facebook and Twitter because I'm what the industry would call a liability. He got on the phone straight away. Don't get into an argument with these politicians. They're not messing about. They'll shoot your knees off. Stay off Twitter. Stay off the internet for one day. Okay, Daddy, I'll be good. In my head, I'm like, I haven't felt this alive in years. I get off the phone. I went on Twitter immediately. I put up a link to the thing demanding I apologise to Arlene, and I wrote underneath, "I will apologise to Arlene Foster as soon as she licks my vag and looks disgusted." I'll make no further comment to the press because I'm a very private person. So I'm feeling alive. I'm feeling good. The only thing that bothered me about this story was the way I found out about it. And the way I found out was a gay guy in Northern Ireland tweeted me, and he tweeted me trying to cancel me because he was furious at me. He said, "How dare you say Arlene Foster is secretly gay just because she's a homophobe?" Well, can I just be honest? I think all vocal homophobes turn out to be gay in the end. It's just a waiting game. Vladimir Putin, hello. Then he said, "Butch lesbians are never a punchline." That got to me. And then he said, "Stay in your fucking lane." I was like, oh. Stay in my fucking lane. I've never been so happy to play in my life. My hands are shaking. I'm like, mate, if you're trying to say that I hate butch lesbians, someone needs to tell all the butch lesbians I've dated, because I'm a bisexual. Oh, game, set, and match. I know one clap for bisexuality in a Scottish audience. Doesn't surprise me. Like, I didn't want to say I was bisexual on Twitter or anywhere. Like, see, if I'm honest, Scotland is barely on board with smashed avocado, never mind alternative sexual orientations. It's not just us. A big part of being a bisexual is constantly being told you're not a bisexual, you're going through a phase, you're just whimsical. Oh, aye, that's me, whimsy down a T. So for years, I tried to get on board with the idea I was a straight woman that just had sex with an awful lot of women. Never thought I was a bisexual. I just thought I was a legend. Thanks for your support. This guy tweets me trying to say I hate butch women. Obviously, I know I don't, but straight away, I have to publicly beat him in the Twitter argument, don't I? I have to prove him wrong publicly, and the only way I can do that right here, right now, would be to have a three-way with a butch lady and a very timid little Irish man that I'm in a long-term relationship with. I go out with a man now. I worry when I say that there's going to be some of you going, oh, good, she's been restored to factory settings. Look, it wouldn't matter what gender my partner is. He is a civil servant who was born an old man, right? He's a very vanilla type person. And for his birthday, I said, listen, you can have whatever you want. You can have whatever you want, baby. I got money now. He went, can I have a shoe polishing kit with both black and brown shoe polish? Live your dreams. Can you imagine having a freeway with that? He'd only embarrass himself. I'd be working away on some woman being incredible. He'd be sitting at the end of the bed crying, putting us off, tears dripping onto his little shoes as he silently buffed them. I have an incredibly settled home life, right? And it's nice, but I wish it was more exciting sometimes. And the other day, I was talking to this comedian. She's much cooler than me, and she has a really cool dating life. And she said, oh, so I'm dating Jack and his girlfriend now. I'm in a throuple. Like she was getting a new kitchen. And for some reason, to keep up with the Joneses, I said, Connor and I are thinking of becoming a throuple. Went home that night, sitting in bed next to him. He's reading the latest interest rates on moneysavingexpert.com. And I said, Connor, do you think, can we maybe get a new boyfriend or girlfriend? He went, which one of your bohemian friends have you been talking to now? What do you want to be in a throuple for? I went, well, maybe then you'd have someone to go to parkrun with. Because I hate it. He went, Fern, I've told you, stop asking me deviant things. You have this idea of yourself in your head that you're a mad slag that loves shagging, when really you just like coming home to me, having dinner and cuddling. I went, okay. Can we get a cat?
You know, I hate weed, man, you know? And people who smoke weed, they're always like, you just haven't tried the right kind. Like, there's loads of different types, and they all do different stuff. You could have, like, indica weed. That's like a strain of weed where it's like indica. You know, it's like where you're, like, low and you're, like, stoned. You know, you're, like, indica. You're in the couch, you know? And then there's, like, sativa. You know, it's a different type. It's like sativa. It's like you're up, you're high. You're sativa. It's like sativa Saturday night, you know? And I'm always like, oh, what strain is it where you have one puff and then you just don't speak for an hour? You start wondering if your dad's really your dad, you know? Even though you've seen photographs of him from the 80s, and he looks exactly like maybe he's got a mullet and a mustache, you know? Then you're like, well, maybe he got surgery when I was born. Doesn't make any sense. You know, Scotland's got a bad drug problem, man. Do you know Scotland is the #1 country in the world for cocaine abuse? #1 in the world. I don't want to cast aspersion on what country I assumed would be #1. Surely Colombia. I mean, that's where they make it. It's like if Colombia was #1 in the world for drinking iron brew. You'd be like, what? Just a wee Colombian guy, like, we like it, you know? It tastes like someone left coins in Sprite, you know? For fucks, that is what it tastes like. Notes of the 2-pence piece. especially an Iron Brew Extra. You know, I'm number one in the world for doing cocaine. That makes me sad, man. You know, it makes me sad because, like, cocaine's a bad drug. And you know it's a bad drug because nobody is ever trying to legalize it. All the other drugs have people who really believe in them. Like, you get people who smoke weed and they're like, no, weed should be legal. It's good for chronic back pain. It's good for chronic knee pain. It makes bad films good, you know. There's like loads of valid arguments. Even other drugs. I was watching this Netflix documentary about magic mushrooms, right? And there was this big fat American guy in it, and he was like, magic mushrooms should be legal. I gave magic mushrooms to my grandmother, and it cured her dementia. And I was like, I fucking doubt it. Yeah. Like, I'm sure she was confused in a different way from usual, but I don't think you've cured her dementia. But he believes it. He believes the world would be a better place if people had free and easy access to magic mushrooms. Maybe he's right. I've never seen anybody try to legalise cocaine. There's no movement for it. Nobody's trying to get elected on that platform. Nobody's parading for that, you know? What does that even look like? Just some cunt coming out of Genting Casino at 4 o'clock in the morning? With a black eye and one shoe and a nosebleed going, legalise cocaine! It ruins everything. It's a compelling argument. I was talking about this recently. I was in here, actually, a couple of months ago, and I was doing stand-up in here, I was doing my cocaine stuff, and I was like, oh, nobody wants to legalise cocaine. And then this girl who was in the crowd, she messaged me on Instagram after the show, and she was like, by the way, I'm studying psychotherapy at university, and we found one person who did want to legalise cocaine, Dr. Sigmund Freud. The 1800s Viennese psychotherapist. He loved cocaine. He wanted to use cocaine as medicine to cure heroin addiction. Doesn't work, you know? I don't know if you've seen Trainspotting, right? But they've been giving it a bash here for a while and just fruitless results, you know? It doesn't work at all. I was thinking about that. I couldn't believe that Dr. Sigmund Freud loved cocaine so much, you know? But then I started reading some of his theories on Wikipedia, and they do sound like the ramblings of a cokehead, you know? He was always saying weird stuff. He was always like, yeah, did you know there are two parts of the human brain? We have the conscious part and the subconscious part. And the conscious part's like normal everyday stuff, like I go to the shops and I say hello to my neighbor. But then did you know secretly, subconsciously, everybody wants to fuck their own mother, yeah? 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 Did you know that, yeah? Yeah? Did you know that, yeah? Did you know secretly everybody wants to kill their own daddy, yeah? 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 Did you know that? Yeah? Yeah? Did you know secretly everybody wants to, you know, when you smoke a cigar, you really want to suck a dick? You want to, yeah? You want to suck your daddy's dick? You're like... You need to lay off the gear, big man, you know? Freaking everybody out. Imagine being cornered by Dr. Sigmund Freud at a house party. 2 o'clock in the morning in the kitchen next to the microwave. He's just sitting there with his wee tiny glasses on, his big moustache, going, you wanna suck your daddy's dick? You're like, phone this guy a taxi, man. He's ruining the vibe. The guy needs a glass of water, man, you know? Yeah, I'm not a big cocaine person. Not a big cocaine person. I was thinking about, you know,